What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Automation, and today we are going to be making the successor to the winner of the first Autopolitan, the Maklara. So the Maklara is in kind of an interesting position, as it's the only brand to only have one car made so far, and it's also the only brand other than SLFE to have won a tournament. So there's a lot riding on how well this car turns out. Now, I do have some criteria I want to meet, so I'm not going for Fatale level performance with absolutely no precision at all. I want this car to actually handle well. Well, that's the goal, at least, to handle well, to control pretty well, shift well, to have good gearing, to actually be able to use the power that it has. And for that reason, I'm not going to be trying to get this any higher than, say, 1300 horsepower, and that is already in and of itself quite a lot of horsepower, but I don't really want to go that much higher than that, so that's kind of where the ceiling's at. So beyond that, I want to hit about 18% at least on fuel efficiency. Yeah, I just want this car to actually be a decent sports car. It's a hypercar. This is definitely going to be a hypercar, not a sports car. Anyway, I think we're going to go with this body right here, so let's see how this goes. So first off, I'm thinking carbon fiber, and then I'm thinking semi-space frame would be a good option. We'll go for mid-longitudinal, although I don't know how much space there's going to be for an engine if we do that, so we might play around with that a bit. Then I think we'll do a push rod and maybe a double wishbone in the back. That could be kind of interesting. Or we could switch it and go push double wishbone and push rod. But I don't feel like that's quite as... I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like I haven't seen this combination as much, which kind of makes me curious to want to try it. Alright, so we're going to call this the MT10G5, and we'll see even if this thing is going to be a V10. I'm not sure what it's going to be. It looks like it'll have enough room. Yeah, it looks like it might not be the best option. Let's see, what can we do with a mid-transverse? What can we do? That doesn't fit at all. Too long. Okay, so that's that, and then the rear engine, I'm guessing, probably fits fine. Oh, it doesn't fit at all. Okay, so we're kind of limited here. I mean, I could go for a V8, but that actually didn't change anything. Rear longitudinal, come on, this has gotta fit. Way too long. How? This thing can't even fit a V8. Like, come on. What kind of engine bay is this? Okay, so mid longitudinal is our best bet by absolute far. You know what? This is not gonna be a T10. Perhaps we could do something else equally interesting. We can't get a V16 in there. We could get a V12 almost. So that V8's full. If we do a V60 V8, we can get about a 5 liter before we run out of height. And I would like this to be all-wheel drive just so that it actually controls better. And unfortunately, that's gonna kill it on width if we go for a Boxer. And anything inline's way too long, so our biggest option then would just be a V8. Best we can do is a 6.8 liter V8. So I guess this is an MT8 G1. Alright, let's see how this goes then. I mean, I'm half tempted to see if we could fit a Boxer 6, like a huge Boxer 6. I don't know how that would go though. Let's see, maybe transverse that might fit. What's our issue transverse? Length. So we could fit a 5.5 liter Boxer in there. What could we do rear engine? Probably won't fit at all. Yeah, it won't fit at all. Rear engine is an absolute joke. The question is, do we want to play around with a Boxer Hypercar? A 6-cylinder Boxer Hypercar. I mean, the GT40, I don't know if you'd consider it a hyper as much as a super, but it does have a V6. So I guess a Boxer 6, especially a 5.5 liter, it should be capable of it. Alright, this is going to be the MTB6 G1. I'm just very interested with the concept of making a Boxer supercar now. So we're going to see how far this will go before I inevitably have to give up and put the V8 in here. Alright, so let's just throw all this stuff on here and we can reel it back if we end up not using it. I'm probably going to have to knock the quality up quite a bit to actually get to where I want to. But for now, we're just going to speed through here. I want to run this on premium, not supermint. I want to run it on premium, not super or ultimate, because I'd like it to be able to just, you know, be refillable at your average gas station. Okay, none, and then let's straight through in the back. Okay, so we're at 223 with possibly the worst curve I've ever created. Now, unfortunately, we do have 1,000 horsepower with this right now, but we have 1,000 horsepower in a scenario where this car can't currently handle it from a piston and conrod perspective. The car wants to die. Alright, so let's try and... I don't know how much we can get away with shrinking this back. Let's see, where's this happiest? This is happiest right there at 8,200 RPM. And if we add the compression back in, we can get a little bit more. All I can think of to do is, because that's at max quality and we're still there, so I'm gonna have to reduce the stroke and the variant capacity if I want to make this work, which unfortunately is hurting us quite a deal. 14%. And that's with the quality all the way up, man. Unfortunately, this is not nearly as much performance as I would liked. See, if I do this, then it brings us all the way up to a completely failing level there. So that just doesn't work. This has to be lower. And then what if we drop the compression down all the way and then try and squeeze more out of the turbo? What will happen here? Let's see, can we get this? Come on. There's 1,000. That looks to be holding well enough, and this really can't do anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and call this engine about as good as gonna get. I mean, considering how this thing is tuned, it's gonna need some solid design. This should probably just go the whole way. I kind of like that lifting up a little bit as well. Ooh, that's neat. And out. And then this. Oh, the whole side comes out. Well, I think it's out plenty far currently. I think Maklara has a bit of a smoother look, so I'm not gonna pull that. That's just unnecessary, but I will flatten this front a little bit. Ooh, what's this? I'm just gonna leave that going in there. I think that maybe it can come out a little bit. Is that everything? There's sure a lot of spots you can adjust on this car. I do like it though. I'm never gonna complain about having too many adjustable nodes. Okay, so first off, I want to kind of redesign the look of Maklara's a little bit, because it's been a while since I made the original. Alright, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do this grille. Let's see, so if we do this, and just carry that right off that front piece, how does that look? You know, that's not too bad. I think it needs to be a bit bigger. That's maybe too big. I mean, that kind of works for me. I don't really have any issues with that. Alright, headlights. These are pretty modern looking. Let's see how these would look. So this is definitely a solid option, considering just how well it plays off some of these lines here. But the question is that what I want to go for? Because this whole car looks really wide, which is kind of making me nervous about how these headlights are gonna go. Like, what the heck is that? What's happening? So that would be an option, although the more I look at it, the more I am really starting to get terrified about this whole grille situation. Let's keep trying some stuff here. You know, maybe this thing is mid-engine. I mean, you could just vent it towards the back, because I'm assuming that the engine would be here, because it's less likely it's going to be behind the front axle on the front, right? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so we could just vent the back and just put a little bit of venting up front here. Alright, I'm gonna start with this time. This could work, especially like that. Look how nicely that just plays off these lines. That actually looks like it could be pretty good. Alright, for starters, let's try out something like this. I can see now that this is a horrible plan. I could just do some weird, really wide things going on. So it's definitely not the worst. I mean, the big issue, I think, is just how wide this stupid car is. It's just too wide. I'm just gonna warn y'all by saying that some of the things I'm about to do are not going to be pretty. Okay, how come I mouse over this and it highlights the grill? This is getting so annoying. Okay, let's turn this back down to 2. How's this look? I've really designed myself into a corner here. I don't know about that one. I mean, in a weird way, there's kind of something to it, though. I wonder if combined with a more traditional headlight unit, how this would look. I think I'm gonna say not great, and assume that I speak for everybody. This car just looks so weird. What can we adjust here? All right, so now we have this, and I don't think this is gonna help at all when it comes down to headlights. I don't like this at all. There is no good options. Oh my god. Well, that's probably one of the better options we've come up with. They all just feel like there's just not enough headlight, or there's just too much headlight. Okay, this one seems like it might actually be promising. Okay, so there's that. Now we just need that final grill piece. That may or may not make everything that we've done look awful. Although I may just keep it small, to be honest. It's just nice and tiny. It's just something is off. And I'm not sure what it is, but there's something very off. Have I mentioned I hate working on this car? Oh my gosh, this thing is an absolute nightmare. Like, this is the worst grill I think or the worst, like, body style I've ever tried to make a car work with. Okay, I'm trying a different idea now. This design, I think, actually has some potential to function to a vague degree, which is more than can be said for what's been done so far. Is that really as large as that headlight can get there? You're telling me that there's no possible way that that could get bigger? You know what, actually? This unit might just... Uh-oh. Oh my gosh, it will not... It'll move with the arrow keys, but it won't move with anything else. You know, it'd be nice if I literally could move this thing at all without it either just teleporting or telling me it can't be there. Or just facing upwards. Oh my god. I'm running out of options. I have to do these kind of things. This isn't looking like Maklara at all, but frankly, at this point, I just want a design. This car has upset me so much in so little time. Like, oh my gosh, is this car frustrating. It's not even the car, it's just the body. It's just absolutely impossible, and this just still looks gross in just some weird way. You know what would make this nicer? If the game would just stop lagging, it would actually freaking center my grill. Okay, that's... For some reason, that kind of looks okay to me. I could just be exhausted, or it could actually look good. I don't know. I also don't care anymore. This car has defeated me. I'm just so done. It's been like an hour, and I haven't even gotten to the side of the car yet. It still just looks gross. What is it? Why does it look gross? I hate this car. I really hate this car. Why does everything about this car just look awful? I just don't understand how any car can be this complicated to do something with. Okay, I still don't even know if that looks good or not. I kind of think this whole thing just looks a little awful. This car exists for my own misery. I don't know any other theories really. I think that just looks a little convoluted and overdone, but I have nothing better in mind. I've tried so many different things, and I think all of them just kind of look awful. So with that in mind, there's really just not much I can do. That looks kind of cool from some angles. It's just wide. I think that's the issue. It's just too wide. This car I feel like this is too tall. This whole thing is too wide. This is just too... This door is way too short. This section back here is too bold and blobby and wide. Oh my gosh, I'm having so many issues. Let's not get anywhere near the edge of this car, because that's not an area we're allowed to build at. If it's not clear by now, then let me just say it so that... God! Anyway, what I was going to say is if it's not clear, I'm just going to say it just so that it undeniably is clear I hate this body style. It is the bane of my existence. Oh my gosh, I'm getting way more tilted in automation than I thought I should be. Why is it so wide? Can literally anything look, I mean, some things look decent from some angles, and other angles it's just like, what? Why? Let's see, if I were to make this giant, right? And then put it right in here, which looks like a nice curve that fits this nicely, right? Wrong. From the side now, it's like, it's got this weird bend here. So it's really not, I don't want this curve. This curve is going. I hate it. I want nothing more than just to lower this. I just want it lower. Everything about this car sucks. I hate it. I hate it. I hope that it crashes and burns and doesn't make it on the first corner of our track so I never have to look at it again. See, this is one of those times where, like, just no matter how hard I try, this car is just actively working against every idea I have, no matter how potentially solid it is. Why won't it just stay? Oh my gosh, no matter what I do, it's just lag city if I try and add anything onto this car. Alright, I guess this car isn't getting a diffuser because I freaking can't add one. You know, sometimes everything comes together. I have a plan for a car. The car comes together with said plan. Car even kind of works okay. And everything is lovely. But sometimes car refuses to accept any design. Car frustrates. Car becomes annoying. Don't like car. Let's try one of these, I guess. I'm not optimistic about literally anything at this point, though. I mean, look at my mouse is, and look how long it's taking for anything to even go at this point. Alright, so I guess that's that. I swear, this thing better just be the best car I've ever driven in my life. Because this has been an absolute nightmare. Okay, okay. Okay, this could be something. Why? Why is it crashed? I'm gonna revisit this tomorrow. I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna not hate the car. And I'm gonna come back tomorrow. Okay, so here we are back. It's a new day, and just looking at it is kind of upsetting me again. But I will resist. How can this be just so difficult? I just don't understand how my cursor being here involves that being all the way up there. Is there any scenario with this thing that doesn't involve not working? The question is, though, am I ever gonna get better than that? I don't think so. Also question, is it even worth keeping? Speaking of which, let's see what happens if I try and stick this underneath all that. Why are you bending like this? That's not conform. No. Okay, now look at that. See, that's working all right. It's just so bulbous on the top. This is the first time I think that my issue has not been the actual, like, my design of the car. It's just this body style is just irrefutably awful in my opinion. It's like, it's just unproportionately tall right here. Like, this whole thing should just have a body style that comes up to, like, maybe here and just chops. Like, right along this kind of line. But for some reason, it's, like, over twice as tall as the actual body. I'm still not sure how I feel about ditching the Maklara grille. I feel like that was kind of an important aesthetic, although it did kind of invoke a luxury aesthetic, which I don't know if I really wanted to keep. I mean, that's not so bad. Yeah, that's not so bad. I mean, in fact, we could probably actually just shoot it up. I mean, that's definitely a more rugged look. That's a bit more refined looking. Alright, so I'm not going to put the badge in there. I'm going to put it up here. And speaking of the badge today, the Maklara is going to be the first car in the Autopolitan to get its own custom badge. So before I lose my mind again trying to make this fit on here nicely, huge shout out to jack5.exe for taking the designs and actually turning them into badges that we can use in automation. So yeah, huge shout out to you, huge thanks, and yeah, I just think it looks awesome. It really elevates the car. Alright, so let's get some, I can't grab this now. I've done this in such a terrible order, and now that thing is actually buried underneath. Okay, that was not the answer. Okay, almost there. Someday I just hope to know why this car hates me so much. I've given it nothing but the best chance in life, and it hates me for some reason. Oh my gosh, just let me grab a single thing I mean to grab. Okay, I am done with the amount of effort this grill is taking. That is the front of the car. Is that headlight unit really sticking that far through there? Oh my gosh, this car just wants me to hate everything. Estimated top speed, 62 miles an hour. Let's do a 7-speed dual clutch, top speed 252. That's better. I don't even care. I wanted to beat the old speed, which I think was like 260. At this point, I just want this car to drive as fast as it can into a wall. Okay. Carbon fiber, carbon ceramic, big. 2 seats in the front because my plans are worthless. Who even cares about my plans? This car sure doesn't. Wow, look at the nightmare car. Isn't it such a nightmare car? This car can suck it. What's going on with the door handles? Let's see, car tends to oversteer. It also tends to suck. Dampers are hard. I don't care, and I also don't not care at this point. So just, there you go. Nice loose dampers. Yay, look at the car. Wow, look at those rims. Aren't those just phenomenal? Just freaking angry at this car. 500 pounds of downforce. That should be good enough. Can you just stop complaining about everything? Why does that have to be sticking through there? The only way I can get the front of this car to look anywhere decent involves a headlight jabbing itself through the side of the car. This car is going to be awful, and it deserves to crash like it's going to. I just hope that it burns quickly so I don't have to look at it anymore. Thing looks like a doorstop, but like, the doorstop is actually worth buying. I just hate this car. I hate what this car has put me through. It has tested my patience and it's defeated me in many ways, and I want it to die. So let's go test it, and yeah, see if it's any good. I bet it won't be. I bet it's a pile of shit. Alright, so here are all 3 of the currently existing Maklara cars. Now, our middle one you'll probably recognize as the winner of Season 1. The right one is the one that we just made. This one on the left here is one that I just made just for fun. It's not been used or shown in anything before, but it is another Maklara. And the backs on all of them look wildly different from each other. Because I guess I don't know why I have no consistency when it comes to the back, but the fronts all share at least a couple similar elements. They all share that cross piece there and that lower section down on the bottom. So there is some similarity, at least a little bit. All right, now as for the Elysian in-game, I from some angles, I think it looks much better than I thought it would. From other angles, I think it looks awful. Also, for some reason, it rendered this little bit of like little black strips down here, and I really hate those. Anyway, a Boxer 6 supercar. How's that engine looking there? Let's just see this real quick. It is a pretty good looking engine, actually. That is a big engine. On paper, this thing should be a pretty good car. Let's see how it drives. Okay, it's definitely got some pickup. Ooh, okay, it actually doesn't drive all that bad. It's definitely better than the T10, that's for sure, but it's also not hard. Right now, my definition of controlling this car involves feathering the gas and, hope. Everything about this car is a little bit scary, though. I constantly feel like I'm on the edge of just almost figuring out how to control it and, losing control of it. There is no in-between. It's just a jump between those extremes. I really hate this car. Like, just personally, I hate it. I hate it. I mean, compared to other cars, it drives okay. Like, it's no worse than the original Maklara or the SLFE really, or the Fatale, but it just represents so much frustration to me now. And I just still can't get past this design. This is the supercar I don't like. I don't like it.
Alright, so I just want to pop in here real quick. So having spent the last week trying to fix technical issues that have prevented this video from being edited, and now spending the last 3 or 4 hours trying to edit this video, looking at this particular image right here, I gotta say, I don't hate it. I'll never admit that again. Now back to the video.
I don't like it. Never pick this body for anything, ever. Anyway, let's see how this train wreck does around the track. The time to beat right now is the Fatale Posh Pish has a 1:17.52. That's a very good time. The SLFE has a 1:21.77. And after that, the next time is the AJ Turbo with a 1:32. Now, I don't expect this to be hitting the 1:30s. I expect this to be very close with the Fatale and the SLFE. So, let's see how the Maklara Elysian does around our track. Alright, so I'm assuming I didn't show the other tries because this episode's probably already running quite long, but this is the third attempt to get this car around the track. And what I have to do so far is that it is less fun than the Fatale and not as relaxing as the SLFE. It's just kind of sits in that space between a car that is difficult to drive and therefore fun, and easy to drive and therefore fun. It's just kind of a little bit annoying and therefore not super fun to drive. Now, this could just be the fact that I've already established I hate this car, and I do hate this car. So you guys can download it and decide for yourself if I'm just being ridiculous or if it actually is just a frustratingly annoying thing to drive. And it looks like an aggressive potato. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, on the bright side, it doesn't accelerate super ridiculously fast, so it is still somewhat controllable, I say, as it starts to kind of just launch itself around the track. I imagine this car will probably get a lot better once I get used to its quirks, but at the time being, it's just annoying. Okay, brake, 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 brake. Why won't you just... It doesn't feel like it actually is stopping. And this thing has ABS. I shouldn't have to pulse the brakes. It should just engage the ABS. That was bad. But let's just get around this last corner here and see what our time is. Don't do that. Alright, take it in, not too far, and go. And stop. Oh my gosh. So how did the Maklara Elysian do around our track? Well, as expected, it did pretty good. So as a reminder, the times it was trying to beat was the Fatale Posh Pish with a 1:17, the Fatale Posh Standard with a 1:19, and the SLFE with a 1:21.77. Well, the Maklara has come in with a 1:21.68, meaning it is just a fraction ahead of the SLFE. Now, throughout the events, I will continue to drive these cars and compete them as unbiased as possible. However, I've got to say, I hope that between the SLFE and the Fatale, that this car gets absolutely smacked. If I have to look at this thing for another season, I will lose my mind. Anyway, as usual, the car will be available on the BeamNG repository. Please do allow time for it to process. It usually only takes about a day or so, so go ahead and check back on this link tomorrow, and it should be perfectly functional and ready for you to download. That is assuming that you want to download this aggressive potato of misery and let it into your life and onto your computer. It deserves to be nowhere near your things. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of the design, what you think of how it sounds, the engine, that kind of stuff. Do you hate it as irrationally as I do? Probably not. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.